So, hello everyone. Thank you for coming to our Blockchain Game Alliance new members presentation for the month of September. We have an amazing lineup of project, games, and services who have joined the BGA this month and are going to present what they are doing to our community and all the people watching us live right now on YouTube and Twitter. It's really exciting. Before I let them introduce themselves, I'll just give you a brief introduction of what is the Blockchain Game Alliance, as always do. So let's get started. The BGA is a non-profit organization committed to promoting the use of blockchain technology within the video game industry. We are now over 150 members in the alliance, with members from various categories in the ecosystem. We'll get to it. Our goal is to spread awareness about blockchain technology, non-fungible token, decentralized gaming, cryptocurrencies, governance, DAO, etc., and show how they can help to create, publish, play, build communities, engage communities, and much more, all in the gaming industry. We're also a strong advocate for diversity and more inclusivity of women. We've had several events dedicated to to them in the past, and we provide an open forum for individuals and companies who are here to network, to connect, to share knowledge, to work on the common standard, establish best practice, and collaborate together. All right, so the core activities of the BGA include networking, research and reporting, representing blockchain game companies, and advocating for the use of blockchain within the game industry. All our members, as you can see, 150 members, it's really exciting. The alliance has been growing significantly over the last few months. For those of you who follow us, you have seen all the different members who join and all the activities we organize almost on a weekly basis now. So we have blockchain games, we have chains and protocol, we have press and media, we have games, we have investors, we have platforms and protocol, esports, developer tools, and legal companies, legal advice, etc., etc. And we're always open to welcome you and your company if you feel you can contribute to the space and help us by bringing more awareness around blockchain technology in the gaming space. So I wanted to give a big thanks as well to our sponsor, Animoca Brands, Erick, Ubisoft, Galaxy Interactive, MakerDAO, Algorand, Chromia, Matic, AMD, and Mobox. So big thanks to them for the extra support to our activity. And well, a few examples of what we've done in the space: interview with industry leaders and video gaming executives, workshop on various thematics like DeFi, legal topics, decentralized gaming, DAOs. We're also open to talk on specific topics that you have heard, so feel free to make any suggestions. Every month, at the last day of the month, we have our new members presentation like you're going to see today. And we offer free speaking opportunities to various online events, as well as free tickets to attend those and increase your knowledge in the space. We've run many events with 100% women speakers. That's been really one of the great success this year. We got really a lot of praise around it. We've launched over the last month a series dedicated to the topic of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, giving voice to collectors, wealth, investors, marketplace, and all the key actors in the space, to give you a broad picture, as broad as possible, and increase all the learning and in this very exciting space. We're happy to welcome among our members this month Community Gaming, Erick, the Coin Tribune, Seller, CryptoStache, Tokenization Limited, Simplex, Gamalo, Partavate Studio, Second Legion. That's a hell of a lot of great companies that join us. And without any further ado, we'll move into the presentation from these companies and speakers. We'll have first Nimrod from Simplex, who is going to present his company. So Nimrod, are you with us? Yeah,
Yes,
I, I
very
see
much so.
you. I see you here. Yes.
Hi guys.
Hello. So you get the chance to introduce. To be the first to introduce. So if you want to share your slide again here. All right.
Yeah, you see it?
And yep, perfect.
Or should I? Yeah,
All
excellent.
good. The
Okay.
stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. Very happy to be here. I'm ex-gamer, I would say. Most of my gaming today is in DeFi. I'm sure many of you are interested in all the gamification of the DeFi space these days. It's very exciting, and I want to tell you a bit more about Simplex today, and also about why we think Simplex can have such a massive part in adoption through the gaming space. Simplex provides mostly on-ramps up until now since 2014, and now we're starting to offer easy off-ramps as well. I'm sure you're all very much familiar with the opportunities with NFTs on top of the blockchain. One of the things that I find most interesting naturally because of Simplex is how do you on-ramp from NFTs. So you have your collectible, you've traded them, you want to cash out of it. I think that off-ramps is the missing link for it to be actually usable in massive numbers. And I think that it's very much visible today that the blockchain not only as a supporting mechanism, but also as a payment option for on-ramps as buying crypto and then using the crypto, whether it's for direct payment or if it's NFTs, but still you need a way for users globally to on-ramp properly. And, I'm sure we're all up to date with what's going on with Fortnite and Apple. I think it's just the first step in a huge change in the ecosystem. So I'll tell you a bit more about what Simplex is doing. Simplex is a company we've started in 2014. We're providing on-ramps and off-ramps for hundreds of organizations in the crypto ecosystem. We were the first to develop on-ramp methods using credit cards and debit cards with zero chargeback guarantee to the merchant, so the merchant is never exposed to a chargeback risk. We're a licensed financial institution in Europe, meaning that we're able to hold client funds in fiat, which relieves our partners, the exchanges, the wallets, and in this case, maybe the games themselves from the burden of holding fiat and getting into licensing, which is usually very difficult. We're processing today millions of dollars of payments per day with many of the largest exchanges and wallets of the ecosystem. I think that by far we're the market leader in this space, and we're very proud in the fact that we're pushing millions of dollars per day of new money, new users into the crypto ecosystem. And I think that the gaming industry specifically could be an amazing gateway for mainstream adoption. So we're very, very much excited to be a part of it. As you can see, we're working with many of the largest names in the ecosystem like Bitstamp, Binance, BitPay, Trezor. We've recently partnered also with Gala Game, who's a bit of a newcomer to the blockchain space, even though really not a newcomer to the gaming space. The founder is Erick, who was one of the founders of Farmville. Also started working with Wax, is another token that's directed towards gaming. So both of those tokens are currently available directly to purchase with a credit card on our network of partners. The main narrative of what we do is enabling users to buy anything they want, any way they want, anywhere they want, whether it's a cryptocurrency, a token, an NFT, and now we're adding the layer enabling everyone to also off-ramp or sell it anywhere to anyone in any way. I think it's very much corresponding very well with the gaming space, enabling users more freedom, more options, more opportunities. And I think that whoever in the ecosystem who's interested in speaking with us will be very happy to have a conversation. Oops. So again, as mentioned, we've started in 2014 with support with Visa and MasterCard, and now we're adding a bunch of other payment methods as the ones you can see here: Google Pay, Union Pay, Apple Pay, JCB, Yandex, Swift, and SEPA. SEPA is already active. Swift is coming on very soon, meaning that people will be able to on-ramp and off-ramp in every jurisdiction, in their local currency, and in the local payment methods. And again, I think that it's a massive part of the adoption into the gaming space. Basically, what we're trying to provide is full accessibility, no matter where you are, what you're doing, and just be able to do much more interaction between the more traditional world and the crypto world. By nature, the blockchain world is trustless, meaning that a transaction, once committed, is non-reversible. That's the situation we came and solved initially with the support of fraudless processing for the credit cards. Because credit cards, you can always charge back a transaction. It was considered kind of the holy grail of the crypto ecosystem, that you're unable to support crypto purchase with a credit card. We completely changed the way it's perceived by everyone. It was a complete paradigm shift, and now it's considered something which is very much doable. We're supporting, again, we're working with most of the large names of the ecosystem, and I think it's a very important aspect bringing into the gaming ecosystem as well. So today we have about 2 million users who've used the system through our partners. We have a very high percentage of returning users, which again, I think means a lot to the gaming industry as well, as most users are playing the same games. And I think it's a great product market fit to enable games, game developers, game communities to capitalize not only by the usual means of advertising and such, but also by actually collecting payments and micropayments via the crypto ecosystem. And that's it. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any. I was trying to be very, very quick about it. So anyone who has questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right. Seems like there's no question now from our live feed on Twitter or stream. Do you have me a quick question? Like, do you have like any story to share? Like, because you're live on so many of those exchange platform games, so it's quite exciting to see how you've been really facilitating the onboarding to enable users to purchase either crypto or tokens. Have you seen like something like a bit surprising that happened once on the platform, or like someone trying to buy for so many amount of NFTs with a credit card? Because that's a question that came quite a few times. Like people ask us like, but can we see, is there a risk to buying NFT with a credit card in abusing the system? So as you are one of the key provider in the space, can you tell us more on that topic?
Sure. So, I mean, we pretty much created the fraudless payment processing for the space. I can tell you that every transaction that is done by us is guaranteed by us. So every transaction, we put our money where our mouth is. If we guaranteed the seller that he's getting the money, then he's getting the money. Again, I think that it's something that corresponds very well with the crypto ecosystem. Once you transfer the crypto to someone, it's there, it's gone, it's non-reversible. We just needed to create at the time the infrastructure around the credit card transaction to make them, not irreversible, because that's an infrastructural issue of credit cards, but at least safe enough for the seller that he knows that he's not going to get compromised. So yes, if you're using us, as far as I know, only us. If you sold it through us, you're 100% guaranteed.
Very cool. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Nimrod. Our next speaker will be Robert from Play to Earn.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Hey.
My name is Robert. I'm happy to be here. And so I run Play to Earn. It's a editorial platform. Let me swap to the PowerPoint. I have a background in media production. I've been making television shows, working at press agencies, and various online platforms, always making media about video games. For the past 5 years, I've been living in Turkey, working from home. And earlier this year, I got a bit annoyed by the lack of coverage about a certain event in blockchain gaming. I was like, okay, you know what? I will do it myself. So that's how Play to Earn started. Right now, we have a website, social media, newsletter, all the kind of stuff. The thing that I believe sets it apart is I see Play to Earn as a platform and not as a website or not as a newsletter. It's not one thing. It's a whole ecosystem of media outlets. And as you can see, like as soon as the sandbox goes live, I'm planning to expand there as well. I bought some land there, and I'm currently building a game festival inside CryptoVoxels. More about that as well. Play to Earn is all about educating people about blockchain games at first, and the Play to Earn business model second. I believe Play to Earn has the potential to do what free to play has done for mobile gaming. So I really want to. Everything I do is basically built around the concept of Play to Earn. Even though I don't make a game, I would love to, but I don't do that. Thankfully, the content I make is I wouldn't say popular, but it's getting some traction. And I've been growing my presence online steadily. I expect this to end this month close to 40,000 read articles across my ecosystem. So what I'm doing is I create quality content for myself, also for third parties. I write for magazines, for other websites if needed. And I want to create a community through my content. That means that's something that's still happening. That's an ongoing process. And ultimately, down the road, I'm thinking about doing something with a community token or anything to provide incentives for the community to interact, to contribute, and to create an ecosystem for myself, for Play to Earn. But that's a long run. First, I'm building community, and that's basically where my current activities come into play. So the social token is something for the long run. I'm currently designing collectibles. Everything I do with Play to Earn is about news. It's about things that are happening in the blockchain gaming space. So I'm making NFT collectibles based on big events in the blockchain gaming space. Currently, I'm designing let's call it a Genesis series that dives into the history of blockchain games and NFTs. And in the future, it will be news-oriented based on modern day. And what I'm doing is I'm working together with different communities to promote their events and to build my own events. So I'm now working with the guys who organize the WIP meetups in CryptoVoxels. They are setting up a sports event, an esports event called the Meta Olympics. And Play to Earn is the official media partner for the Meta Olympics, which means making match reports, sort of funny stories surrounding this sports event. So this is a small tease of the of the NFTs I'm making. This is an early version. And this is the main thing I'm working on right now. The Play to Earn Game Festival will take place November 2nd to November 6th, all about blockchain, gaming, and play to earn business models in particular. I chose CryptoVoxels because it's super easy to access for anybody. You just need a phone or a PC, and you can you can visit whatever you want. And I'm currently looking for game sponsors. And the cool thing about game sponsors is they don't have to pay anything. They just need to provide me with content so I can fill up the event, basically. There will be a Game of the Show award, stuff like that. Like I said, the event will take place from November 2nd to November 6th. And if there's lots of enthusiasm from game developers and the gaming community alike, the event can be extended for another week or maybe even 2 weeks, depending on the amount of hype. Like I said, it costs nothing for developers and also for gamers. It doesn't cost anything. Like learning about play to earn and learning about blockchain gaming is completely free, and everybody will be able to learn something about upcoming games and existing games in the blockchain gaming space at the Play to Earn Game Festival. This is a quick look at some early designs I had. So there will be arcade machines. On those arcade machines, you can get more info. And it looks like a dump, but it looks really cool as well. So Play to Earn, Play to Earn can help you to promote your game. Play to Earn can help you learn about blockchain gaming and learn about Play to Earn business models. And it's just, I think I'm building a very cool product. And I hope I get support from the community and the support from the developers as well. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, feel free.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's really exciting to see all the things that you've been doing in the space and all the dedication to covering most of the news from all the various games, most of them being already BGA members. I think you have this unique way to transcribe what are the news into like newsworthy article that you always like the first to cover. So that's quite an achievement.
I come from a media background, and I worked at a press agency for many years. And I tend to look at things maybe a bit different because of that background. And I hope it gives me a unique voice in the way I present the news and the type of topics I cover.
Do you have, like today, you announced this NFT game festival. Is there anything that you'd like to tell to the audience? Because you've been so deeply involved with Play to Earn. Do you have like one recommendation to share for those who are not yet into NFTs and Play to Earn?
If you're, learn about it. Like understand the technology, understand the value it can bring. The moment. Just read. Of course, read Play to Earn online. Also read and watch other media. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. There are a lot of cool podcasts out there. Read, listen, learn, and at one moment, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, something will snap in your brain, and you're like, I get it, and you understand the value that NFTs can bring. And there's lots of skepticism around a certain group from a certain corner of the internet about NFTs and their potential value. Some NFTs are just digital things and digital collectibles that are maybe worth $1 or $2, and some of them will be worth $1,000. And in the end, it's not about value, but it's about uniqueness and being able to own them and sell them And if they turn out to be valuable in 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, or 10 years, then, great for you. But in the end, it's about ownership and being able to do whatever you want to do. The same as I can do with this pencil, whatever I want to do, I can do the same with my NFTs. And I think that's an important thing to grasp.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the tip. So please do read more to learn and get into the space. That's really the tip from Robert. Thank you so much, Robert, for joining us. I'm going to welcome our next speaker now, which is Scott Koda. Okay, Koda, are you with us? Yeah,
I'm here. Mute? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, let me see if I can do the thing.
Yep, that's it. So, well, as soon as you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Is it up?
Let's go.
Oh, I don't see. Am I streaming? All right. Can you see my slides?
Yep, we can all see it.
Okay. Excellent.
Good, you can go.
Well, good morning. I apologize if I'm a little latent in the brain. It's rather early, and I just got up a little while ago here in Seattle, Washington. I am Scott Dudley. I also go by the name Koda. I've been in the gaming industry for a little while as both an engineer and a designer. I basically, for the most part, am Partavate Studios. I am the primary developer on the project. The most significant contributor to the project so far, by far, is Walter Kosniak. He also goes by 2 or 2 Design. You can see on the screen some of the logo work that he's done. He started the game project a long time ago. Once I understood what the Ethereum virtual machine was, I realized that a game could be built for it. I started prototyping. And when I ran the prototypes by Walter, Walter jumped in and redesigned the branding into what the game is today. He put a touch on it that really made it a much more exceptional product, and I am stoked to have him involved. I've also had a lot of support from a number of other people who've contributed to the project in various ways. I'm not going to go through the list of names, but they're up on the screen, and they've all been a major part of making it what it is. I'm really stoked to be here with the Blockchain Gaming Alliance and all of these really cool projects and companies. Thanks for having me around, guys. It's great. And the project at hand, Orbiter 8. Orbiter 8 is a game DApp for the Ethereum network in which you will explore the galaxy, trade for profit, fight for dominance, and build an empire. So the background of the story, it's near future, it's the year 2140, and we've filled up the solar system. We built these orbital assist ships, and we expanded out to all the planets, and now it's overcrowded. And all of a sudden, the Cybernetics Corporation has developed a new kind of orbiter assist ship that not only travels from planet to planet, but can travel from star to star. So for the first time in human history, we're able to explore the whole of the galaxy. And this is the universe within which Orbiter 8 takes place. So you will be playing this entirely on the Ethereum network. Orbiter 8 is sort of an experiment in design integrity. It is a fully distributed game DApp with no necessary centralized components. So even the game client itself will be fully distributable on a system like IPFS, the Interplanetary File System. So you won't necessarily have to log into any centralized mechanics to engage with the game world. The gameplay itself, because it's a DApp and the network has some limitations, the gameplay is designed to flow with the network cadence. So it's kind of a pace more like a board game rather than an action game. A lot of this design work was really inspired by games from the bulletin board era, when you had limited resources available for users who were logging in over a telephone system. These design limitations actually play really well into the design limitations of modern blockchain networks and the speed at which they tend to operate. So the traveling from star to star, what you're looking at right now, is just a little sample of the UI. And this is a core component of the game so far. The game world map is basically a galaxy, and you can move throughout the galaxy from star to star. And as you do so, the galaxy expands. I designed this this ever-expanding dynamic galaxy system before I really understood NFTs. So as I began to grok NFTs and they began to become more popular, I realized that this was my mechanism for actually generating NFTs within this game world. I don't know how clear the graphic is on the screen without a deep explanation, but hopefully you can grok the notion that as the player moves from star to star, new stars are generated at the frontier of space. So as users play the game world itself will actually expand. And as you move through space, you'll be able to visit the planets in each of the solar systems, claim them, name them, upgrade them. The planets themselves are game assets like the stars that are ownable. So I'm working towards a goal of tokenomics with integrity. And as I may have said, Orbiter 8 is sort of an experiment in design integrity itself. So the tokens will be a standard ERC type token, but none of them will ever be pre-generated. There won't be anything rare. There won't be any baked-in fees. All the freshly minted assets can only be improved by playing the game with them. So everyone will begin with the same ship. And as you play the game, you'll be able to earn the in-game currency, which will be an ERC20-based currency, and then invest that currency back into your ship and in improving it. So if you want to have a really great ship, you'll have to play the game and upgrade your ship to make it as such. And then, of course, it'll be sellable on various marketplaces for NFT tokens. So development progress. I began this game a few years ago. And in January 2019, I released the first demo to the Ropsten test network. And then this demo, you were able to actually travel from star to star. And that was the only gameplay available at that time. Later, I started to add all of the celestial bodies to the blockchain. So we had on-chain tracking of planets, of ports, moons, and the other various objects that you'll be interacting with as you move through the game and trade. And that demo was released to Ropsten back in March of 2020, March of this year. I'm currently working on the third demo, and that demo is going to introduce currency. It's going to introduce the trade mechanisms and the upgrades themselves. So the first demo was movement. The second demo actually filled the space with objects. The third demo is going to bring in the gameplay mechanics of trade. The last demo, the fourth demo, before reaching sort of a minimum viable game, is going to introduce the concepts of battle and war so that you can actually build your empire and take over other people's empire. These 4 demos, once complete, will constitute the core basic necessity for an enjoyable, playable game, but we will continue to expand the game beyond that before finally releasing to mainnet. If you visit the website today, there's a section on the website that looks much like this slide, and you can scroll down to there and follow links through to play any of the demos that you'd like to try out so far. That is the bulk of the presentation that I have for today. I was trying to keep it within the time limits, but if people want to dive into any particular part of the game project, please ask me questions.
Very cool. Let's see if there's any question from the audience. Not yet. The demo is already live, right?
Yes, there are currently 2 live demos. The first one of being able to just move about the universe or the galaxy, really. And then the second one, you're able to move around and claim planets and rename planets, which will effectively be the NFT mechanism for generating, claiming, and upgrading your various assets.
All right. So, well, just one announcement. You've seen we will be organizing a demo day at the Blockchain Game Alliance next month. I would highly recommend your project, Orbiter 8, to participate and show in live streaming like a real gameplay session. I think like that would be also really interesting for the audience to dive more into the detail of the game and see how fun it could be.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. I would love to do that. Also, just an interesting note about the name. The fella, Walter, who helped me design a lot of the branding, really likes to have hidden imagery, hidden concepts within all of the branding elements that he does. And you may or may not have noticed, but Orbiter 8 sounds a whole lot like obliterate.
Interesting, because I'm not English native, I didn't catch that, but now you mention it, it's actually makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit punny.
Very cool. So, well, I'm looking forward to trying it as well. I'm always on trying all the new games. That's kind of thing I love to do. And again, I hope to see you sometime next month for the BGA Game Demo Day.
For sure.
Thank you so much, Scott. And I'm going to welcome our next speaker now, CryptoStache. Are you here with us? Yes.
How's it going?
Nice
everybody?
Background.
Yeah. Thank you guys
Nice
so much
mustache.
for having me here. I appreciate it. And, excited to be a new member of the BGA. I've been in crypto here since, late 2013 and, got my first Bitcoin, kind of hodled through a bear market. And, then cryptocurrency kind of came back onto my radar in 2016 when I kind of saw what was going on with Ethereum and kind of programmable smart contracts, which has opened the doors here for what we kind of consider blockchain gaming as a whole these days. And so it was a pretty exciting thing for me. And so that's kind of how I got, started in the actual space with my branding, CryptoStache. It was all really about just kind of following my journey at first and, trying to be as helpful to people as I possibly could. I was one of those people who was talking about crypto and everyone around me is like, I don't even know what this is. What are you trying to talk about here? I don't understand it. I don't get it. They're asking me the same questions over and over again. And so I created the CryptoStache brand to kind of, help with those types of things. Now, I've been a gamer my entire life. I grew up playing, at first Atari, then moving on to a Nintendo console, and then, into PC gaming, so I taught myself how to code and design at a young age at about 16 years old. And so I've been doing a lot of those things, playing games, for my entire life. So, kind of seeing this merger of what blockchain gaming is doing now, it actually really excites me to see kind of the fact that you can now, retain value that you're putting into a game in multiple ways, whether that's your time or whether that's your money. Both those things I've lost in countless games that I played over the course of my gaming, kind of career there. So I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way too. There's a lot of gamers out there right now, across the globe. There's, over 2 billion plus gamers, people who are playing games on a daily basis. Where once, gaming was just kind of a thing for nerds and not everyone out there was doing it. So it's great to kind of see that shift here. And, earlier, Robert was talking about kind of the play to earn aspect being the next evolution from what we see right now is kind of like the free to play. And we've seen kind of these models go over the couple of last couple of decades, how the monetization of games has changed. So my focus really now and over the past 2 years has been on, creating content focused around gaming. And I actually do quite a bit of different things. So not only do I do content, but, I have my educational website where, I do talk about other topics besides, blockchain, gaming, and NFTs, even though that is my focus. So I do put up articles and resources, things that make it easy for new people to come on board. Always looking towards how I can then rope him into blockchain gaming and how to get him interested in NFTs, because it's a hard jump for someone who doesn't understand crypto to go from like I barely heard about Bitcoin to like I'm buying NFTs. So I think that I really try and focus on that the early adoption for people and getting them interested and trying to find out what it is might pique their interest. And I think NFTs actually will do that for a lot of people here. So I've done a lot of different things. So I've run in-person classes. I do interviews and videos on the regular. And I also speak at cryptocurrency conferences and mostly focusing on blockchain gaming and NFTs. So I've spoken at multiple conferences doing so, just, either as a moderator or as a guest on panels. And I put together a fun little bus trip with about 45 other people, other crypto enthusiasts, where we took a trip from Los Angeles all together up to the Bitcoin 2019 conference. And so I've kind of done a variety of different things, but like I said, I've really focused more on the gaming and NFT side of stuff. So, you know, I was actually in partnership with Engine. I was actually the first content creator to ever have an NFT created for them. This was in 2018, when all NFTs that were being created were really being created for the purpose of games or for you know, actual you know, collections. Right, there was nothing. There weren't really people who were minting NFTs to represent themselves or their brand or tokenizing what they were doing in the space. And so, as far as I know, I'm the first official person to do that. And you can see here on the screen, the Stash Loot was my very first NFT that I minted in conjunction with Engine. We airdropped it to about 5,000 people out there. And you know, now the supply has kind of whittled down over time. So people have melted it, which you can do on the Engine platform for getting some value back out of it. And now I think there's about 1,700 of those tokens out there. So they're a little bit rare, which is kind of fun. And since then, I've created a bunch of other NFTs for various different occasions. Some of them just for fun, some of them that are incorporated into games. I actually have an NFT that I created in conjunction with Lost Relics and with Rewardio, which is a rewards-based NFT platform called the Stash Master of the Horde Dragon. And you can actually use this NFT that's, you know, it's a dragon with a mustache, which is a lot of fun. And you can actually use this NFT in multiple games. So you can use it in Lost Relics as a pet, and you can also use it in a new game called My Metaverse, which is a blockchain-enabled Minecraft server. And you get to fly on that sweet dragon in that game. So in addition to that, I've done some other, you know, kind of tokens here. I did one called Bitcoin Can Do It, which was in collaboration with a local establishment here in my city who has been supporting blockchain for a very long time. It's where I do our meetups, our monthly meetups that I hold with my friend Gaston Cruz. And so we did this kind of homage to them, this Bitcoin Can Do, which is a kind of classic take on the Rosie the Riveter. I've also launched my kind of founders token, which was an airdrop to my wider community audience that gives you kind of some monthly benefits and allows you to be entered into our Wheel of Crypto drawing, which is a lot of fun, which I'm actually doing later today on my Theta channel. And so we just spin this sweet wheel that I have, and there's a bunch of prizes to be had. And one of my latest ones, which is the Agent's Disguise Kit, you'll see here in the corner, and that kind of represents what I'm doing in blockchain gaming right now. Which is my weekly blockchain gaming show on Twitch called the Secret Agent Stash Show. So in this show, I every week I stream a different blockchain-based game, and you know it's a secret agent themed show where you can see I have my secret agent outfit. I'm in headquarters, and then I change into different disguises so I can infiltrate all these blockchain games and then go and describe them to, you know, the audience. And we do, it's disguises and prizes every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. EST, or 11 p.m. UTC, or if you are, you know, international. And so it's a lot of fun. So I definitely love to promote blockchain gaming and what's going on in the space in multiple different ways, not only through doing interviews, like the recent one I did with Sebastien about the sandbox, but, you know, also doing tutorials or, you know, highlights in particular with my live stream that I do every week. So, you know, if you're a blockchain-based game and you want to get your, you know, a little more exposure for your game, and this is also a really great way. So definitely reach out to me, and I would love to stream your game live on my channel. So you can see a couple of the different disguises I have there that I've worn recently, and you can kind of go look at some of my previous issues there on Twitch or on my YouTube channel. But it's a lot of fun, you know, so we do giveaways and you know, I really try and, in addition to just streaming, it's more of a show. So I really try and focus on the aspects of blockchain gaming, why it's important, why people should be paying attention, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, I think that's where a lot of people get their first exposure because, you know, we're on Twitch. And so I have sometimes just random people stop by and they're like, blockchain gaming, what is that? You know? So I really try and hold people's hands, show them why it's important, why ownership of assets is important, and the aspects of play to earn and how they can actually monetize their game time. So, and then the last thing I kind of want to show you guys here is actually a little sneak peek of something that I have not talked about at all. And this is something I've been working on for the better part of this year, and it's a project called Loot Hall. So what Loot Hall is it's a tokenized showcase for all of your digital assets across multiple platforms. And what that means is Loot Hall allows you to show off your digital loot for people to be able to have bragging rights, to be able to show how all your awesome collection. So if you have that rare legendary skin that you spent hours, days, months grinding, or maybe you won it in a special tournament, most of the time the only place you can show those things off is inside the game. There's not like a really great place to say, hey, look at all the sweet loot that I've acquired. Look at these great items. So what Loot Hall does, it actually connects blockchain gaming and what's going on in the NFT space with traditional gaming. So not only can you showcase your NFTs or blockchain-based assets, but you can also showcase your digital skins from games like CSGO or Team Fortress or any other game that is on the Steam platform. So this is connecting both worlds kind of together. So you have this very fluid, display of all of your favorite digital assets, whether they're blockchain based or whether they're just standard centralized gaming assets. They all have a place here on Loot Hall, and you can essentially not only customize your entire showcase with different NFTs, but you can the actual layout of your profile page is tokenized. So you can see here in the background on your main profile page here, you can change out this background and you can change out the pedestals individually that each token is being displayed on for different types of pedestals and different designs. And so we're looking to partner with different games and with different studios to be able to come up with a unique and like rare different designs for these. So you can mix and match. Maybe you're a big fan of Orbital 8 and you want to have a sweet background to represent what's going on there. You can purchase these bundles of NFTs, which are actually NFTs that you can hold in your wallet, which then allows you to change out this tokenized showcase to any background and pedestal combinations that you want. And so we're going to be working with a bunch of different game partners in the space, and really excited to be able to get people's feedback. We're going into a closed alpha launch here next week, so we are looking for people who want to demo this out and test it out with us and give us their feedback. Just kind of play around with it right now in its very early alpha state, so we can kind of work on the next iterations and the next portions of this, which include competition on what we call war boards, where you're competing against other people who have loot halls for really sweet rare prizes in NFTs and in tokens, and some other great aspects that we can't really necessarily reveal yet, but definitely moving forward on combining tokenized DeFi style gamification to the display and the showcase of your really sweet assets. So Loot Hall is a brand new thing, and like I said, this is the very first time I've actually showcased this to pretty much anybody. So I really appreciate you guys for checking it out and sticking with me today. You can find me on all of your different platforms here. So if you're interested in connecting with me, seeing what's going on, you can find me on on my website. That's my main place of where all my links and stuff are at. And then you can, I'm dropping videos almost daily on my YouTube channel. I'm very active on Twitter. And then if you want to really join our core community, you can there on Telegram. And of course, I'm on Twitch. I'm on Theta, Instagram, and Library. Those are my main platforms, even though I'm on a couple of others. And I will be on Theta later today doing a live stream there. So if you've not checked out Theta, which is a crypto-based platform, it's actually a pretty cool thing that's going on right now. So that's it for me today. Stash that crypto, friends.
Amazing. Wow, great demo. Thank you for showing us to our eyes for the very first time the Loot Hall platform. I see in the comments there's quite many of us that are already excited to try it out. So like really looking forward to have access and again, I invite you also to show it again at our BGA demo day sometime in October. Is there any questions on the audience for you? Let me see. Nope, no. All right, no question for now. I think everything was pretty clear and well presented. We can feel like you're used to stream. That's for sure. It's pretty impressive to see all the social media networks you are. There's even some I wasn't aware of yet. Library. How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, library. It's like LBRY
TV?
library. It's like a decentralized kind of YouTube. You know.
Cool. That's one more thing I'll check out. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and thanks for the sneak peek. Yeah, pretty exciting to have those exciting things shown on our new member presentation days. So thank you for that. And now our next speaker will be Donnie from Bitski today. Donnie, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, interesting. Here we go. Share. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Oh, no. I might, it looks like I can't share my screen unless I restart
maybe
Chrome.
Sasha, next? Do you want to take it and we'll have Donnie back after you? If you're... All right, he's gone. So, well, let's start and we'll get back to Donnie after. Is that okay?
Cool. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Cool.
All right. So this is live, so sometimes these things happen, no problem. Let's learn more about the Neoverse then. Tell us more about it.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for inviting me into BGA and today as well. So Neo is a general purpose platform. We work on gaming space, but we also work across different spaces. I wanted to just share quick kind of like where we are today overall, if you don't know about Neo, just to learn about it too. We just launched a couple applications on mainnet actually. So there's a Zedron that was launched recently, and it's fully live on mainnet for us. There's also Flux application that's live, but waiting until phase 2 for us. There's a vote happening right now, and the financial transfers for applications like Flux, its prediction market, will allow them to actually onboard users. That will happen in a couple of weeks. So that's super exciting because I really like the UX. And you can check it out at flux.market. For Zedron, check it out at playwithzest.com. And we are overall like launching a lot of different partners right now. So like on a DeFi space, we're launching together with Balancer, Aave, 1inch, and then on the gaming side with Hashrush. You might know the team at Hashrush. On the art side with Mintbase and many other partners that we're launching together with right now, kind of cover every month. We also ended up building pretty good DevX. So a lot of people telling us that development experience is pretty good on Neo. We spent overall, for the context, like 2 years on building our developer tooling, like making sure it works. We have four people working full time on developer tooling specifically in Neo, and kind of like making sure it looks and feels like Web 2 backend as opposed to Web 3 backend. So like we can actually open up the ecosystem for as many developers as possible. We have a lot of nodes running online already, and actually what's interesting is that Neo Foundation itself unplugged all of the nodes, so it's fully decentralized launch. Neo Foundation is no longer running any nodes, it's all validators, and it's all up to the validator vote right now when we are going into phase 2, when the inflation will be enabled, financial transfers will be enabled. So that's pretty much happening right now. Can happen like even during this presentation, can happen in the next week or two. It really depends on how quickly the vote will go. You can actually see the transactions. So the big value overall already on an example of Zest, you can see the transactions are very cheap. So it's like 5,000 times cheaper or 10,000 times cheaper than Ethereum today. So it's fairly cheap to run transactions, just like a couple cents or like fraction of a cent per transaction. And we also launching the bridge right now, so people got a chance to for the first time to use it in a hackathon we're doing right now. There's an online hackathon called hack the rainbow, but essentially the breach allows us to have fully trustless two-way communication with Ethereum. And so it takes 6 minutes to go from Ethereum to Near. It takes 4 hours to go other way from Near to Ethereum. And right now it supports all of the ERC20, so all of the stablecoins working on Near, and we're going to be adding support for ERC 721s as well. But I think it would take some time. I would imagine it will take a couple months to fully build out the ERC 721 support. Overall, what we're focusing on right now is also building out support for Ethereum Virtual Machine. That's what a lot of people in the market asked recently with Ethereum gas prices. A lot of people wanted to find the solution while not needing to rewrite the contracts. So we are releasing like full native support for EVM, and it will work on each shard actually. And we are also working on the cost optimizations to allow to reduce gas cost even further, and continuously working on sharding in the background as well. And for the context, we launch with one shard right now, and as the capacity on one shard gets filled in the next like 6 to 9 months, then we're going to start introducing new shards. So there's no like network congestion. There is like never a situation where the gas prices will be unsustainable. So we focus on open finance as one of the areas. So we're working on the stablecoin side. We're going to be doing co-marketing together with MakerDAO. But all of the other assets, USDC, USDT, and many others will be available through the breach. We also working with 3 different AMM providers, so Uniswap, Balancer, and there's another unannounced team, and also on derivatives exchanges and DEXs. There'll be two partners announced there that we're working with, and on the lending we're working with Aave. And then outside of finance space, so we work with Mintbase on NFT side. There are a couple other NFT projects right now evaluating Near. There are some esports solutions like Artera built on Near. There are some social networks. There are some video transcoding services, marketplaces for P2P sharing of smartphones. That's Tesla B. And gaming is Hashrush. And yeah, highly recommend you check out the gameplay of Hashrush. It's on YouTube. It's I would say it's a mix between Dota and like more like harder core strategy games like StarCraft or Warcraft. We also did demo day just recently with Open Web Collective. So openwebcollective.com, it's an agnostic accelerator. Anybody who wants to join it, they don't need to build on Near. And we essentially help people with developer incentives, business models, how to get to adoption. And we just had a demo day with first 9 startups there. 5 of them were in finance space, and other 4 were in esports, digital art, gaming. Actually, in case of OP games, you probably know Chase. And we're going to be doing the second cohort actually in January, and going to be looking at the applications like very soon for that one. That's openwebcollective.com. But longer term vision, I wanted to also mention overall, we want to open up the markets that haven't been existing before in crypto. As we know, overall, that internet started with like fully decentralized communities. As it gotten commercial, it got centralized. By now, like 4 or 5 companies essentially control all of the users on the internet. It's incredibly hard to start new businesses. But I think like if you start new businesses in 2020, for example, and trying to compete for the users, be it in gaming or in other places, you can offer them something that they cannot get anywhere else outside of Web3, and that's ownership. And so if you can offer ownership to your users, then that's very differentiated. And we saw it in the music space with Audios. We saw it in driving space and transportation space with a company called Eva in Canada, who's competing with Uber there. And the drivers are using essentially 2 services, but in one they're just a driver, and other one they're owner in the system. And what it means is they actually, every time the rider that comes into the cab for them, they're actually selling them on Eva, because they understand that they're owners in the system. And that's like very, very powerful, this notion of digital cooperatives. The kind of like philosophies of open web is decentralization, hackability, and composability. Open and permissionless, it's user first. And it connects the financial markets with the kind of passion economy. And over time, I think over the next 3, 4, 5 years, we'll be able to see kind of like interactivity between different primitives, such as social graph, and applications, such as blogging platform, gaming applications. We'll start seeing like essentially interactivity between different applications and primitives, as opposed to how the internet works today. So that's kind of like our long-term vision. We think that there are different people involved here. There are creators, there are developers, there are market participants, entrepreneurs, and users are at the center of it, right? And so users consume the media, they use the products, they own their own data. Developers in this build systems that users want, and there's a governance process established by which users essentially decide almost the future roadmap of the products, the same way how in audio and music streaming application, the users will be able to vote for I want to have social sharing of the music, for example, and instead of some big corporation like Spotify deciding on those features, it will be users deciding on the features. And the creators will be able to actually monetize a lot better and be empowered, being owners in the system. And entrepreneurs will have digital rights. They'll be able to trust the platform that they're building on top of. The platform not going to change rules on them, and so they'll be able to also bring the products to market a lot faster, because also what we know about crypto, of course, it's more open financial markets. So more liquidity, more financial instruments, more market discovery around prices. So anybody can launch the products directly into the market, and the market is a lot more liquid and a lot more democratized than it used to be. So that's what open web is. And overall, if you think about the kind of evolution of the blockchain space in the last 10 years, you can think of it as it started with open money. Well, some people call Bitcoin more the digital gold, but it was almost initial primitive, very cheap way to park wealth or escape inflation in some places. Like for example, I'm from Belarus, and definitely there is a big demand for Bitcoin there. And then with Ethereum, essentially what happened was now you can have programmable money, right? It's not just about the cheap way to park money, but it's also lending. It's also now experimentation is around gaming. It's also ability to trade more and more effectively. And so now you can actually move forward into the place where it's not just about money, it's also about user data. And so that's how we think about the continuation of the space in the last 10 years. But of course, it will take many, many months and years to kind of uncover all of this use cases. So it will be community owned open web. So users will own, again, their assets and data and can freely switch between different platforms and choose between different services. Nobody's locked in a particular platform. There is also, so not only it's built with open source, but it also has open state, meaning that it's open database, and people can move at any point and can also reuse the code if needed. And then also on top of it, there'll be the incentives and the ownership that's going back to participants. And as I mentioned, it will move beyond finance. So we see now maturation of kind of DeFi market. It took maybe 2 years to fully mature, but obviously there are other markets, from my perspective, more interesting markets like gaming and art that will mature over the next year or two as well. And it just takes time. And then we're going to start seeing the kind of manifestations of open web and other verticals too. So like music, transportation, and many others. And just wanted to mention, it's last minute, but we're running the online hackathon where people can use the bridge as well. And I think the only other thing I wanted to mention, again, it's Open Web Collective, our accelerator, where we're accepting applications now. And if you overall want to learn more about the space, we have both technical content. It's on YouTube. Our whiteboard series, we interviewed close to 40 projects in space overall, and protocol teams kind of finding it's useful to go to this particular playlist and kind of see different approaches when it comes to scalability. We talk to majority of layer 1 solutions, layer 2 solutions, and kind of understand every approach, and it's all out there and open. But also I do more less of a technical content and more business content by talking to entrepreneurs, mostly in space, sometimes investors in space. And that's the podcast called Build the Open Web. You can find it anywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and also using this link near.ai/OWP. So that's all I had. Sorry, it was like a bit rapid fire presentation.
Thank you so much, Sasha. It's really excited to see all the things going on at Near. That's That's a lot. So, and you have like an amazing partner ecosystem already. So it's great to see all the everything. Sorry. I don't, let me see if there's any question. Not sure. No, I don't see any specific question from the audience today. So, Donnie, if you've been able to resolve your screen sharing issue, yep. I guess we can move on to you now. Thank you again, Sasha.
Awesome.
Here. All right. Here.
Perfect. Is this working? Oh, there we go.
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. So my presentation is really, I kind of wanted to explain. So if you've heard of Bitski already, you probably know us as a kind of as a user wallet service. That's relatively easy. Sandbox is one of our favorite customers, but we built this wallet with the idea that we wanted something that was incredibly easy to use, that was insanely secure and accessible across all platforms. So we built a single sign-on wallet with all keys being hardware backed in hardware security modules. And so it's the way we sleep at night, is that we keep these keys in the same sort of devices that banks have been using for 20 or 30 years to keep private keys secure. And it allows us to provide a much better user experience for the vast majority of people. And I think that really kind of frames what Bitski is trying to do right now. So we see ourselves as trying, like, hell-bent on bringing virtual worlds and game studios into blockchain, and not so much just for the case, just for the reason of blockchain, but to actually really leverage the concept of open economies. And so let me just get started. So this is like one of my favorite quotes. I don't know if you guys haven't heard this talk by Tim Sweeney from SIGGRAPH. It's on SoundCloud and probably every other podcast. But it's a very concrete explanation of what would be needed in order to build out a metaverse. And I mean, talking like asset standards, just a real technical walkthrough. And at one point, he really gets into talking about blockchain. And I think that this just really stuck out to me, because when you look at the future of gaming, and we're very excited about virtual worlds, you see that there's an opportunity to really to establish this sort of global ownership and transaction layer. And there hasn't, and it really solves this idea of like data portability across games. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that people can leverage. And whether that means you're trying to support game or support assets in multiple games, or you're just trying to provide a liquidity market for people to sell their assets, the idea of data portability is fundamentally going to be the most important aspect, I think, moving forward of virtual worlds and games. So basically our job, or the job that we've decided for ourselves, is that we really want to build the tools that power this ownership layer for virtual worlds. Currently, we have a very strong focus on individuals, brands, and virtual worlds. And we have a bit of a progressive strategy that we're pushing, that we'd like to see big studios that aren't familiar with blockchain on how they can start to fold in some of these low-level primitives. And at a high level, we just see a huge need for a more robust economy in virtual worlds. Time spent continues to increase at a rapid pace. The idea or the concept of digital ownership and expression is growing rapidly. And brands and content creators are really struggling to get in front of people in a meaningful way. And so you've seen this with like Gucci, for example, did a partnership with Tennis Clash, I believe, where you could effectively wear and purchase a Gucci outfit that you could wear in Tennis Clash. While I think that was very cool, that's obviously a very siloed experience. And it would be really cool that if anytime you bought a Gucci sweatshirt, you would be able to have a tokenized or a digital version of that you could carry around virtual worlds with you. And so the problem with enabling all these things, though, is just the raw integration complexity. And I think it is early in the space, but at the same time, there are enough primitives to get things going. And so what we've seen is that, whether it's, people worrying about the scalability of Ethereum, or worrying about how they explain their team on how to write a contract or to create a token, or how do we update a token, these are all challenges that basically a studio, most of the studios that we've spoken to have said, we're just going to put pause on this. Even if we see an outcome that we think might be viable, we're not going to spend the money or to hire the team that's needed in order to actually build out these type of features. So for us, we obviously recognize a bit of an opportunity. And so we want to build a legitimate set of tools for this ownership and transaction layer. This is obviously started with our user wallet, which is a very easy place to keep all your stuff that you're able to own. But it's since expanded to creator-friendly tools for asset creation, distribution, and interop. And I think that, not only is it just building a set of tools, what really is important, and I think Near has done a great job of this, is building an investment in education and onboarding for games and brands to understand this thing. And I think we have right now a lot of efforts on, incredibly smart people building these brilliant protocols and getting people of, one abstraction above that to really understand how to leverage that. And right now, what we see is still kind of a gap between that level of abstraction and what a game studio that isn't familiar with crypto or blockchain really understands at this point. So with all that said, and it sounding like a bunch of, what is Bitski, I'll just kind of get to the brass tacks. So the first thing that we offer, and we've offered this for over a year now, has been our Bitski user wallet. It's a complete blockchain wallet that, can integrate single sign-on into any third-party app. This is our web view of that wallet, and you can access it on your phone as well. And so it allows you to sign transactions. You can directly in-app. You can actually send assets and currencies from the wallet, obviously. And if you notice, we've taken a very, very Spartan aesthetic approach. We want the same people that are just massively using Square Cash or Venmo to really understand and grok this experience. And so when you look at a lot of other wallets in this space, I think they've done a really good job of catering to people that are excited about DeFi, that are excited about all the different sort of programmable things you can do with your money. And what we found is, after a bunch of user research, is that that's actually a bit of turnoff to new users, and it's a bit confusing for them to really grok everything at once. And so our sort of model is to build sort of simple first for what we think is a great use case around virtual worlds, and slowly fold in these new experiences. And that said, you can obviously auth into a bunch of exchanges with your Bitski wallet. So it's just more what we want to offer in our first party experience. But you can easily, if you are an advanced user, you can leverage sort of our hosted key management solution for any product that you want to use. The other thing, this is a little bit simple, but just the SDKs. I have no good picture for an SDK because it's just a block of code. But these effectively can be integrated into any game, any blockchain project that you're working on. And so the crux of what we're offering and moving forward, and I should say, taking one quick step back, we haven't really spoken about this publicly at all. If you look at the Bitski website, it doesn't mention this at all. We're making, we're basically in the process of undergoing a large sort of outward branding and marketing as to what our offering is, because we haven't really updated that in a while. So some of this, or most of this, will likely be new. But the underlying infrastructure that we built to power our user wallet is a really, really clever system that can be used for really automating a lot of token management. And this is where we found a lot of value can come from a customer, from a game studio perspective. It's one thing to be able to provide users with an easy sign-on experience and an easy wallet experience, but it doesn't really help a game studio really understand what they can do with blockchain. And so what we've done is basically have a system of these low-level primitives. We have what we call a programmatic wallet that developers can use to really execute any of these sort of services programmatically. You can connect them directly to your backend. So if, say, a player beats level 1 and you want to automatically give them a sword, and you don't want them to have to have a pop-up come up and say, I approve this sword, you can just programmatically see that happened, that they beat level 1, key off of that event in your game, and automatically send that token to their asset. You can automatically mint that token and send it to their wallet, rather. If, say, when they beat level 2, you want to upgrade that sword and have higher HP or whatever attribute, you can key off of that event in game and update the token programmatically. So the idea is that you can start, as a developer, you can start to treat the blockchain like a database in the same way that you've been writing to these things for years. Beyond that, we also have the Bitski Creator Portal, which will be launching in probably sometime in Q4. Some of this is already there, but what this really allows us to do is to enable a hybrid of people that are working with whether it's artists, whether it's marketing teams that want to go in and set a set of rules with a simple WYSIWYG. versus having to do any sort of programmatic action to make things work. This is what we're very excited about. We're actually working with, I guess in the current phase, building ownership and transaction tools for content creators and virtual worlds. We're actually working with a new brand that is very cool. It's like a digital first clothing brand that has a huge following on TikTok and Instagram, and helping them tokenize the content that they're making. And what I see is, like, you know, they're not a very blockchain savvy company at all. They like the idea of allowing people to own the digital things that they build. They have a very cool like sneakerhead / gaming brand aesthetic to them. And they are one of the first brands that I see that they're basically like, what is Nike's vision, or what is Nike's roadmap for 2024? Let's go ahead and build that today. So the idea that you can start to have third-party content in virtual worlds is something that we're really excited to power. Beyond that, we're heads down on this ownership and transaction tools. Beyond that, we want to help ship standardization and interoperability features. This goes for a sort of governance model around asset standardization, on-chain marketplace infrastructure, off-chain compute, identity tools. There's quite a few things that we think the space still needs. And then even like long-term is metaverse standardization and a big focus on governance tools. And so I think that if you have, regardless of what underlying protocol or chain that you're on, if you want to set a set of standards for different assets and you want to get buy-in from another studio, and we're talking 5-10 years down the line now, where you have multiple studios or publishers looking at one underlying blockchain for a set of truth. How do you, and somebody wants to make a change to how this standard works, how do you manage that? How do you make sure that the people who have invested in either hosting nodes of this infrastructure or providing value to it are able to help make the decisions on how it grows? So at a very, very high level, our focus is really just bridging the gap between traditional gaming and virtual worlds and the opportunities in providing an open economy. That was a very quick run through. I think people obviously know what wallets are and everything like that, but I thought it'd be important to really point out what our vision is at Bitski and what we're focused on. Any questions?
That was a very packed presentation. Thanks, Donnie, for running it through in a short time with everything. Even it looks technical, it seemed very comprehensible. It's quite exciting to see like all the projects that are using you. Can you tell us like how many hundred of thousands or million of users are already using Bitski on a day-to-day basis?
We're on a day-to-day basis. There's probably it's tens of thousands on day-to-day coming in using their wallet. What we've really seen is that it's not always a day-to-day DAU that's really valuable. It's more, are we seeing like are we seeing change in people's wallets? Are we seeing them accrue new assets? Are we seeing them like actively building up whatever their ownership assets are? And so for us, that's something that we've seen perpetually grow. Obviously, with Sandbox, you guys have been doing very well with your pre-sale launches, and we've seen a lot of opportunity there. We have exchanges that have been really starting to get exciting. One that has done really well lately, if you guys haven't seen it, is Matcha. It's a decentralized, it's a DEX aggregator that, I mean, I hate to say these type of phrases, but it's effectively Robinhood for token trading. It's the most simple experience. It's being built from the 0x team by a bunch of ex-Facebook product designers, and from what I can tell, is likely the most accessible exchange that I've seen, outside of centralized or decentralized. It's just a really incredible work what they've done. So we're seeing a lot of those type of projects. We also have sports betting, which is legal in some places and not in others, and so they do a good job of managing that. But obviously, as sports are coming back, that's nice to see a pickup as well. So overall, we're seeing the activity continue to grow, and it's a really exciting time. I think what we've seen with DeFi has been really helpful. I think that because Bitski is a very NFT-focused wallet, we've seen a nice uptick in adoption over the past couple of weeks with the sort of craze around NFT implications and integrating that with DeFi. So yeah, it's been a fun few months.
Exciting, very exciting. All right, maybe we'll see you again at the demo day, so you can walk us through like how easy it is to manage your asset and log in via Bitski wallet.
Yeah, we can do it.
Cool. So our next speaker will be Erick deMoura from Cartesi. Erick, are you with us?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. Today, I'll talk about Cartesi and what we're doing here to make the lives of decentralized game developers better. So let me just put my presentation here.
All right.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So Cartesi is a project with the vision to help to provide the mainstream software world abilities of convenience and scalability to the apps, right? So in the context of game development, the question I want to bring today is how to make a game verifiable and provably fair, right? And since we are blockchain game developers, the natural answer would be, let's use a blockchain. But we know very well that we have the problems of scalability. Particularly, we have limited computation, meaning that you have a limited throughput on the network and the number of instructions that you can process per unit of time, right? So on Ethereum, for instance, you have a limited amount of gas that can be used in the whole network for units of time. And not only you are limited by the computation that you can perform, but as the network usage increases, eventually people start to get in an auction to get a place in the next block, leading the prices to very high places, right? So besides this problem, we have limited tools and limited stacks, basically because blockchains do not provide an operating system and then don't provide the mainstream software stacks that you find on top of OSs. So the Cartesi SDK is our first product. Basically, it is a blockchain agnostic second layer infrastructure that takes massive computation over large amounts of data off chain while retaining decentralization and the same security guarantees of the underlying blockchain. Also, one interesting feature is that all the computation can be done privately, meaning that data doesn't need to be revealed on chain, and it can even use ZK libraries on Cartesi to build privacy among the users of the DApp. And finally, the most important property that really sets what we're doing apart from other layer 2 solutions is the fact that our VM, which is reproducible, deterministic, and so on, it can actually run a real OS. So you can build your DApp logic on a real Linux operating system. So when you talk about scalability, normally there is a huge focus around throughput and transactions per second. Of course, if you are thinking of a blockchain as a platform to run an application, you can't think alone on throughput. You have to also consider how much storage you can put in, and how much computation you can perform, right? So there are some layer 2 solutions that will tackle each one of these dimensions. So if you think of throughput, you can use things like Plasma or rollups to increase the number of transactions per second. If you think of storage, while you want to retain data availability, you can use things like sidechains. And finally, if you want to increase computational capability, meaning that you want to perform heavy computation like billions or trillions of microprocessor instruction steps, then you need something like the car. And the other dimension here that we bring is a dimension of convenience and productivity for developers. Because if you are a DApp developer and you want to develop your smart contract for DApp, then you have immature tooling, you don't have an operating system, and you have the absence of these building blocks that you find on mainstream software. Whereas on mainstream, you have this gigantic infrastructure that took more than 30 years to be built. You can use OS resources like the file system, and you can count on myriad libraries. So here's a concrete example. Early this year, we released Crypts, which is our first demo application. It is a game, it is a tower defense game that's built on the blockchain on Ethereum using Cartesi, and it involves heavy computation. So actually, a gameplay of Crypts would involve billions or even trillions of microprocessor instruction steps, and of course, that's not feasible on-chain. And finally, we also use complex logic and use OS resources like the file system to compress or decompress files. And of course, you don't have the concept of file on Ethereum. So here we have a tower defense game, a simple but quite nice and addictive one that runs totally decentralized on Ethereum, thanks to what we do at Cartesi. So how does it work? Basically, if you are to develop an application on layer 1, then all computation that you do has to be emulated by thousands of full nodes, right? So your computational layer is mixed together with the consensus layer. And if we do the computations on Cartesi, what we do is to separate the computational layer from the rest of the consensus layer. So computations are done off-chain on the card, and the blockchain is only used as a supreme court in the case that whoever is performing the computation off-chain, they don't happen to agree among themselves. And the computation will run on a Linux OS, and it will be verifiable totally on-chain and enforceable by whoever is honest. How it works? So your smart contract defines a computation to be performed off-chain on Cartesi. The Descartes nodes run the computation off-chain, and you can have one Descartes node per user, or for users can have Descartes nodes running on organizations they trust. Anyway, you have a number of Descartes nodes that will run this computation on the behalf of users. And what's really important here is that as long as you have at least one honest node running, it is able to enforce the correct result of the computation on-chain, even if all the others are colluding. And that can be done at a negligible cost compared to the original computation. So complex intensive computations are verifiable at a negligible cost. So here I put some graph to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. Your smart contract will define heavy computation that will run off-chain. One Descartes node that can be representing a player will run the computation and be a claimer, will suggest a result on-chain. The other nodes run the same computation, and if they disagree, they can start an arbitration mechanism, and any honest node is able to infallibly enforce the correct result on-chain. So again, you have your DApp contract that will start computations off-chain, and inside of your Descartes node, you have the Cartesi machine, which is our deterministic VM that runs Linux. So what can you do regarding games, right? So you can think of creating a verifiable environment for the logic of your game. So let's say Alice and Bob can provide their game moves to the Cartesi machine. The Cartesi machine will run all these heavy computation of the game state, and and will produce a result that will end on chain. And Alice and Bob can verify each other and enforce correct behavior on chain. Other examples here are, of course, Cartesi and the card. Right now, it only scales computation, which is a great thing. But if you want to also combine the card with other layer 2 solutions like Matic, you can also have throughputs and storage scaling. So you can think about doing turn-based strategy games, for instance. And if you want to do card games in which players have to conceal their hands, you can also use mainstream software libraries that implement ZK that already exists for Linux to build your game. So that's just a quick overview. I hope you guys like it. And right now we are running a DApp incubation program. We are actually running that in partnership with Gitcoin, and we are providing at least 20K to good projects that will be built using Cartesi. So if you have some idea to develop a game, if you want to use Cartesi or Cartesi with another layer 2 solution like Matic, we highly recommend you to just try it. So thank you very much. That's it. Any questions?
If there are any questions, I remember we ran a couple of months ago a decentralized gaming workshop where you were able to demo like a battleship game in live and other space shooter, if I remember correctly. Have you had those games live with many users, or were they more like technical demos, or like which would be the main title live using Cartesi?
So the only game that we implemented was Scripts, the tower defense game that I showed quickly here. And it is actually a tech demo. It's open source, people can download, can test it, and it's running on Ethereum. Testnet is also running on Matic.
Great. All right. So if there's no other questions from the audience for now, I guess we'll move to Chris, our next speaker from Community Gaming. And Chris has been for a long time in the space as well. He'll tell us more very soon. Chris, are you with us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to try to run through a presentation pretty quick. Is this, am I sharing it correctly?
I think so. It's a bit of lag, window in window. Like. You have to screen share the right tab, I guess. Maybe you were not on the right tab.
Okay, let me try it again. It's just one button. It's just share screen and then application window. All right. How about now? Good? All right, let me troubleshoot this. First of all, it's fantastic to be in the BGA. I've been a follower for many years since I've been at Consensus, and now we're super excited to be a member as Community Gaming. So I'm going to share my screen, hopefully. Let me try sharing through a Chrome tab. Maybe that will work. All right, how about now?
Yeah, I think it's good. You should just click on present at the top right.
Cool. All right, so community gaming, who are we? How long have we been around? So we are an esports events company and an online tournament platform. We've actually been hosting events primarily in New York City, where I'm based, for over 4 years. So these are one-day competitive events where people come together, they meet new people, they play in games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Super Smash Brothers, Valorant, and Dota. And we've been running these events, like I said, for about 4 years, working at different venues. And the ethos is really about the social aspect of gaming and enabling gamers to earn money competing in the games they love. So I'm going to really speed through this because I want to actually show off the platform, which is live now at communitygaming.io. So I'm just going to speed through these slides. Essentially, this is where we operate, right? We're not trying to be the top of the competitive gaming pyramid like ESL 1. We really are focused on the tier 2 and the amateur players, kind of this enthusiast tier. So you start at home, you play, and eventually, as you get more engaged, you want to compete online. You want to be part of communities. You want to meet new people, and you want to compete for cash. So one of the problems we've identified, I've been in the esports space many years, is that it's actually very difficult to monetize your skill because the average player is not going to be the next Ninja most likely. You're not going to be on Team Liquid. You're not going to be PewDiePie on YouTube. So a lot of these channels are impractical, right? Doesn't mean you can't try to become those things, but it's like trying to join the NBA. Most likely you're not gonna make it. You're gonna be part of the 99% that still wants to have a great time. They still want to have a competitive experience. So one of the available options are tournament platforms, right? They've been around forever. It's not a new idea, but the current platforms that exist have a lot of issues that you can see listed here. One of the main ones is they're really not a community place. There's not community features. There's not real community engagement. You kind of just show up and play. Because they operate on traditional payment rails, they have high fees, slow withdrawals. I can tell you from experience, trying to send out 15 PayPal payments to some 19 and 20-year-old League of Legends players is not easy. So it's a very labor-intensive process to be an organizer, and there's no incentives, right? You're not getting paid to run a tournament on Smash GG or Challenge. So it's a thankless job. Right? You're doing it for your community and because you love it. But it's cumbersome process to create tournaments, and you don't really have incentives. So what's our solution to this? Well, we have years of experience running events in person. I've personally run about 200 events, and we want to introduce, and we've launched into V1, a social tournament platform at communitygaming.io. You can go check it out now. And we have a huge focus on earning, right? Earning as a player, earning as an organizer, right? So you'll be able to become a first-time organizer and create a tournament in less than 5 minutes, compared to other platforms that could take 20, 30 minutes just to even get it set up. And you'll be able to take advantage of Ethereum-powered payments, smart contract-powered payments where, we don't control the funds. They're held in escrow, and they're paid out automatically, the prize pool, at the end of the tournament. And you don't have to, use PayPal or traditional payment rails. You don't have to have high fees or, 3 to 4 business days. You get paid out immediately, right? And I'm a huge proponent of play to earn, right? Like everyone here is. And most people think of play to earn with game developers, which is where it starts. But it also can apply to applications built either on top of the game or adjacent to the game. So that's kind of where we see ourselves as a community platform that uses blockchain tech on the back end. Very importantly, is we want to make this accessible for the millions of traditional gamers, right? We're not targeting the hardcore DeFi users. I mean, they're obviously happy to use our platform, but that's not our target audience. We want to make this usable for the millions of players who have never heard of MetaMask. They don't know what Coinbase is, but they still want to get paid immediately. And so these are some of the features, right? It's fully customizable from the organizer perspective. We're working with a few game developers I'll talk about in a moment to fully automate the match reporting. So you won't even have to worry about, reporting who won each match. It'll just pulled in automatically. And then the payments at the end, like I mentioned, are automatically sent out. I'll talk more about the leaderboard system, and we are integrating with Wire soon to have credit card support and USD conversion. So just touching again on the blockchain features, right? The wallet creation onboarding process at the beginning, which I'll try to show if I can get through this fast enough, is a real key focus for us because we don't want people to, have to stop and go make a Coinbase account, go get a little bit of ETH to make a transaction, watch a tutorial on private key management, understanding what mnemonic phrases are. We are making it so if you have a MetaMask wallet, sure, you can just link it. But the main thing we're going to have, and I'll demo in a second, is just create a wallet for me option. And we're using a third-party partner for that. Instant payments, we support all ERC20, and starting next week, we'll have NFT support. And a really big kind of longer term vision is this concept of a gamer ID. So you can think of, you know, a leaderboard and a player profile, like a profile page, as kind of the foundations of being able to track your earnings, your NFTs, this concept of NFT badges that we're launching next week, where, like, let's say you organize 10 tournaments. Well, you'll have 10 organizer badges. So that will be able to show to other people, wow, this guy's organized 10 tournaments. I can kind of, you know, he's a trustworthy guy, right? He's done a lot for the community. So as time goes on, it's this concept of reputation with your player ID. So, you know, we're kind of like an earnings platform, more so than maybe just considering ourselves a tournament platform. So you don't need to just be the top of the leaderboards to earn. We're going to gamify basically engagements with the platform. So these are just some examples, and you can picture this saying, earn 1 die, earn 2 die. Every type of engagement will have some kind of, I don't want to say yield farming, but it's kind of our play on farming through engagement. So if you're participating in events, if you're organizing events, you can donate to the prize pools. So any type of thing you do that's adding value, you'll earn micro rewards, essentially. And for streamers or community leaders, you know, you're the most active guy in a Discord for Axie Infinity, you can organize your own tournament in a few minutes, and you can get paid to do it, because, you know, organizers really are doing a lot of work, right? They're promoting it, maybe they're streaming it, they're doing all this communication. And, you know, right now on other platforms, you just kind of do it and you do it because you love it, but we want to really incentivize people. So right now we're not taking a fee as a platform. We're going to allow the organizer to decide what fee they want. And that's part of the custom tournament creation process. So I'm going to try to speed through this stuff here. This is actually a deck for investors, so some of this is not super relevant, but we've run over 150 tournaments the past 2 years, and you know, we reach a lot of people through traditional advertising. So the leadership team, I am the CEO. I've worked at Consensus. I've previously founded an esports company, and I've hosted over 200 tournaments in person. Ebony Chang, who's our COO, is the co-founder of OG Esports, which is the #1 Dota team in the world. So she really brings experience from kind of the top of the esports ladder. And Heidorn is our CTO. He's based in Texas. He also came from Consensus with me to be a co-founder, and he has a ton of experience with dApps and smart contracts. You know, really just the most talented dev I've ever worked with, and we have some great advisors. So I think I'm doing okay on time. Can you guys see if I switch tabs? You guys see my tabs being switched? No?
No, you probably have to share again. Stop sharing and share again.
Okay. So communitygaming.io is where is the platform. So I'm just going to share my screen here. This is version 1 of the platform. It's been live for a few months, kind of in this kind of pseudo closed beta. Hit the platform, you are greeted with the current tournaments. We have a mixture of on-chain and off-chain tournaments. This Saturday, we have a free-to-enter Splinterlands tournament. If you're a fan of Splinterlands, it's a trading card game. And we have some off-chain tournaments as well. So these don't require chain transactions. And you can see that we've been running tournaments for Skyweaver, Axie Infinity. And let me just jump into one of these. You can kind of see how it looks. This was hosted by Z, who's a community member in Axie. You can click into some of these bubbles. You can see the distribution of die. You can see everyone who entered, click in, go to their profile, and the bracket. This is just an example of a double elimination bracket. So as soon as this ended, as soon as this person won, the organizer does 1 on-chain transaction. Soon it'll be 0 when we have our layer 2 integration. And the payments are automatically sent out to everyone who's a winner. So I believe he programmed that it would be top 4 payout. So the top 4 players just got paid out to their wallet. This is the Splinterlands tournament this Saturday. It's $1,000 total, 500 in DAI, 500 in PAX and DEC currency. So if you wanted to join this weekend, this is what you would do. You would sign up. So I'm just going to do a real quick, just going to show you what it's like here. I just made this email for this purpose. You need to be 18 to be part of this. And going back to what I said about the onboarding, this button should be adjusted. If you're on a bigger screen, it'll probably be full size. But essentially, you're greeted here with 3 options, right? And we're going to make this more clear with updating this wording. We just integrated Magic Wallet like a few days ago. This is why there's still a little bit of a visual bug here. But essentially, you can connect your own wallet. You can say, okay, I have MetaMask, I have Taurus, I have Ethereum. You can say, oh, I just want to add my Skyweaver wallet directly. Or you may say, I don't know what a wallet is. I don't even understand what MetaMask is. I'm just going to request a wallet. And this is what we want the 19-year-old League of Legends players that I'm always talking about, the millions of them out there, to do this, right? They just say, I don't understand blockchain. I just want to get into this website and start competing. So you would click that button. And by the way, this is Magic Link. It's a really great integration that we just got done. And you would say, okay, I just want to get in. It would say, good, you have a wallet created for you now. And boom. So I guess you didn't see that I switched tabs, but I just clicked an email in my inbox, and then I'm in. So now I have a public address tied to my community gaming profile page, and then I can go in and I can click join. So I can just join this tournament, and then boom, I'm enrolled. And now I don't have to do an on-chain transaction. I don't have to go to Coinbase. I can just play. And then when it's over, if I'm in first, second, third, or fourth, I will get DAI sent to my wallet, right? So we're really trying to remove all the hurdles of onboarding, playing in a tournament, and getting paid out as fast as possible. So we've worked with companies like Skyweaver, Axie Infinity, Splinterlands now, and anyone could be an organizer, right? So the point here is not that we're going to run all the tournaments. We'll have our own flagship events that we run, but anyone could become an organizer who is a streamer, a community leader, even the developer themselves can just take advantage of this payments tech and this platform and run their own custom tournament, right? They can make it so it's any ERC20, any distribution they want, any format, and yeah, they can just customize it themselves. And just to kind of show you, I'm not going to play this whole video, but we've been running events in person for many years, and the whole social ethos we're going to bring to this platform. So coming together and sharing experiences is a huge part of gaming. So just as a quick preview, we're going to be launching the version 2 of the front end, and I guess you can't see my screen anymore, but I was showing you some screenshots from version 2. So yeah, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I would encourage everyone to go to communitygaming.io, sign up, join the Splinterlands tournament. We'll have tournaments for Axie Infinity coming up soon, Skyweaver, and then of course we have League of Legends, Dota, and Smash tournaments coming up as well. We stream them on Theta, and we're working with many different crypto companies. So if you're a game developer who has a competitive game, I'd love for you to reach out to us. We can help get your competitive infrastructure off the ground. If you're a streamer and you just want to run events for your favorite game and earn money as an organizer, then yeah, just please reach out or just click the apply button, and you can start organizing custom tournaments with automated payments and soon automated match reporting with us. So that's the end of it. I think I got through it pretty fast. So any questions?
I see one comment. Wish we could see. But all right, so
you were able to see that, right? You were able to see my screen the whole time? Yeah.
All right. So seems like we had a technical issue, didn't share, but we'll run it again on the demo day. It's quite exciting to see all the tournaments you've done already. Can you tell us how many users in total? 128 I can see on this screenshot. So that's already, it means that there was 128 participants in the.
So the one coming up this weekend has 5 out of 128. But we run 80-person tournaments every other week. So, we've had a few thousand people compete in our tournaments this year. And with the launch of this platform, it'll go global, right? We'll go from just running events in micro events in cities to running online events for anyone in the world. So, I'd say maybe about 5,000 users so far. But, we're looking to basically bring all of the League of Legends, all of the Dota players, all of the Smash players that compete in our events now and vertically integrate. So the registration, the match reporting, and the payments are all done through our platform. Yep. So check it out, communitygaming.io. And yeah, thank you for your time, everyone. You're on mute, by the way. So.
Hey, everyone. Ben from Blockade Games. I'm the CTO and co-founder well, let me first share my screen before I start talking.
Hi, Ben. Yes.
Hey.
Let's see.
Thank you for having us, by the way. Okay.
Awesome art.
Yeah, it's amazing. Our artists are absolutely fantastic. This is not quite what I was going for. All right, you guys can see everything, right? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. So, thanks for having us. We're Blockade Games. We are a blockchain game company, and also we build a lot of tools to help blockchain game developers onboard and basically separate all the complex logic between actually interacting with blockchain games or the blockchain and then actually building a game. So, what I wanted to talk about today was not so much the development side of things, so I will touch on that. It's more about what we're doing right now for Neon District, which has been our original title and the most anticipated title that we've been working on for the last 3 years. In this entire duration, we had pushed out a whole bunch of different projects to prove out the different theses that we had behind Neon District, the free-to-play aspect, play-to-earn, the idea of just logging in and having a wallet ready for you. This is all things that were incredibly important for us. So we finally, I'm excited to say, we've hit 2 major milestones. We actually just hit our second major milestone today, which is the equipment of character, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. So we took our entire game, and now we're producing a web and mobile-friendly version of Neon District. And we're rolling out the character equipment today with this fully animated character equipment. We have over 1,000 different pieces, which doesn't even touch on the amount of work that was done for that, because there are both male and female pieces. So there's over 2,000 different art pieces. And we are preparing for full player combat, PvP, which will be rolling out in the next 2.5 months. And then, just to give a more holistic overview of Blockade Games, the other major product that we're working on is our game development platform. Every piece of it is in use for Neon District and was being developed over the years for all the different products that we put out. So I'm really excited to share some of that with you guys a little bit later. But for right now, I want to demonstrate the first public showcase of Neon District. So this is the Neon District portal. Some of you may be familiar with this. We pushed out an earlier version of this a year ago when we were going to push out Season 1 as a Unity game. But we have decided to move a bit quicker. We can actually release everything as a web and a mobile game. So we have refactored the Neon District portal completely. So this is an entirely new website. The entire backend has been completely redone, and we have a whole lot of new features, and it's going to be ready for us to bring in combat. So what I wanted to show to you guys is when you first log in, this is for anybody, whether you're familiar with blockchain games, you know how blockchain works, you know all the intricacies, you understand how to move assets between chains, like really advanced stuff. But then if you have no knowledge at all of what blockchain games are, you should still be able to play the game. So joining the Neon District portal is as easy as a username and a password and an email address. And it's a fairly standard, just sign up, you're ready to go. When you first sign in, you'll get to claim a free character. And there are 6 different character types, and they all have different attributes that will affect what your characters can do in combat. We have demons, who are combat specialists. We have docs, which are like the healer types. We have geniuses, which are really tactical in battle. And then we have ghosts that are similar. They're more like combat specialists, but they're definitely a lot more on the tactical side. And then we have heavy, which are like your taunt characters. And then we have jacks, which are like the jack of all trades. So when you come in here and you pick your character, you can swap between male, female, your choice of a character. And once you pick one, you can actually go and like get some loot. So when the game is fully live in about 2.5 months, you'll be able to earn all the loot you want to play. So you don't have to pay anything. You can just come in, play the game, and you'll earn neon, and you'll earn loot, and you'll actually start to build out your characters just from playing the game. So real quick, I'll show this what it's like buying a loot box. You get a whole assortment of things. Again, there are 1,000 assets, so there's a really wide variety of things you can get. And there will be 4 pieces of armor, the legs, the arms, the chest, and the head, and weapons as well. And here we have actually 2 heads and legs and a weapon. So now what's really cool, and what I want to show you guys today, is what we've been working on for the past few months, is the ability to actually equip your characters. So when you come to the character screen, you'll see all the characters that you have. You can pick any of them to level up. And then when you come in here, you're presented with a whole lot of information that doesn't yet make a lot of sense until combat rolls out in about 2 months. But you will see that every character comes with cards, and those cards will be really effective in the combat side. Neon District, maybe I should have started with this, is a role-playing game. But it's not just a role-playing game, it's a hybrid role-playing game and a trading card game. So every character, as you level them up, you will change out their cards. Every weapon that you apply to your character also adds cards. So when it's your character's turn, you get a random selection of cards to pick from, and that will either be an attack, a defense, a health move, anything that you would normally expect from a role-playing game that could also be mixed in with cards. So real quick, I'll show off the character equipment. And this might take a second to load because I have a very slow computer and I'm also trying to stream at the same time, so my apologies. But like I said, you are free to go to portal.neondistrict.io right now, and you can actually sign up, get your free character, get some loot, and you can start crafting your characters right away. So 1 second, it's going to load up the default gear. And then the character is fully animated. When you come in here, you'll pick out whatever you want for the headpiece, and you can swap right through, see what looks good on your character, what you want. You can also see all the statistics change in real time as you are flipping through. And these are all of my ultra rare gear, and I can scroll down and you'll see I also have some rare gear and then common below that. What I'm going to dress my character as is this. We had a game about a year ago called The Legend of Zombo. It was a play on The Legend of Zelda. And to kind of an homage to that, the artist drew a character that's basically like Link from Legend of Zelda, and you can dress up your characters like them. So I think I have all the pieces, and I'll dress up my character as that. So what's going to be really cool is when you're done, you can actually take all of these characters and you can create a team of 4, and you can bring them into battle, and you can play against other players in real time. We have an entire combat plan that's going to be really cool. It's going to be a laddering system, kind of similar to Hearthstone or Sky Reavers, if any of you have played that. And then I think I used up my hands on another character. But that's cool because one of the really nice things about this is you can mix and match every piece of gear, effectively having actually tens of millions of combinations for what your characters can look like and what they can do. So it's a lot of fun. Just come on in. Again, you can sign up. It's free, and you can start playing. And then stick around with our community because we're going to be rolling out new features on a weekly basis. We're going to be rolling out pieces of the combat in the next several weeks. So you can actually come in if you're an early backer, like if you have a founder's key or a trophy, you'll actually get to see and play everything weeks before anybody else. So that was most of what I wanted to show. I know we're over time, so I'm going to stop here. But thank you guys for checking it out. And if you have any questions, I'm open.
Thank you so much. It's really great to see the overall progress from Neon District. All the art is always like one of the major strengths of the game. Like it's so beautiful and so immersive. So that's really cool. You said you're launching in 3 months from now, or one of the features. All right.
Yep.
So there was you launched on Steam the game at some point, but you put everything on hold now and we rebrand. That's okay.
Yep. Yeah, it allows us to move a lot faster.
Sorry?
Oh, I was saying it allows us to move a lot faster because we want to get the game in people's hands. And the other really nice thing about it is not everybody has like the ability to run the full game on the computer. Something I forgot to mention, and you won't really be able to see it, partly because my phone is cracked, partly because I'm a small part of the screen here, but the game is already fully running on mobile. So you can actually come in, you can sign right in with the same account that you use on your desktop, and you can dress up your characters, you can check everything out. It's really cool.
Exciting. Really looking forward to play it very soon. Cool. All right. Well, with that, I think we're nearing the end of today's event. We are a little bit over time, close to 2 hours. So I think we will not be able to run the panel today, unfortunately, unless I see any question in the audience that our panelists or the speakers today want to pick up. In the meantime, well, while you put your question, I'll just invite you to follow the Blockchain Game Alliance. You can follow us on Twitter, on Medium, and over Telegram. And if you're interested, feel free to reach out and apply to run. Maybe as an ending question, and I'll let all the panelists choose who want to answer this one. What do you guys think about the current increase of attention in the current hype around NFTs? Do you see it as something good, something maybe to be concerned about? Who want to take it first?
Maybe just some initial thoughts. It's definitely a good thing. I think if people are excited now, wait until they see more AAA games come out, and we have game economies that the in-game assets are worth millions of dollars. Like not individually, I'm saying collectively, right? If there's a World of Warcraft 2.0 and there's millions of dollars going through the auction house, and these items are used by hundreds of thousands of players, that's going to be extremely exciting, right? Like we have amazing games like Axie Infinity, Skyweaver, Splinterlands today, but it's like really the first inning, right? Like we're not at millions of players yet. So if people are excited now about the first few really rare Axies, people are going to really get blown away when you have a full in-game economy that's like flourishing with commerce, and these items are used by millions of people. So I'm excited about the future, and it's a good sign that people are already kind of getting on the hype train in the early days.
Anyone else want to take it?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I'm totally in agreement with Chris on that. It is a really good thing that people are being excited about NFTs now, because now it's actually getting people to realize what NFTs are, which I didn't realize since I'm so in this space all the time. It just always felt like everybody knew what an NFT was. It turns out that's not the case at all. We are an incredibly niche community. And now people are finding NFTs partly because of their DeFi explosion. So now you have all this interesting collaborations where people are taking NFTs and they're staking them, or you're staking a fungible token to get NFTs. And now you have this value that just feeds into itself, where you can have incredibly rare assets bundled with incredibly valuable fungible tokens. And now all of a sudden you can provide like a bundled asset that locked up means that you're taking away supply, or you're actually providing liquidity that's valuable, and then you're being rewarded with NFTs. And then all of these can actually feed into a larger economic loop. So we're really excited to see where this all goes.
Yeah, I think that the increase of hype has been certainly interesting and exciting. I think that a lot of it has been, I think, surrounded around the idea or the concept of using NFTs as a store of value, and I think that is an important part, an important aspect of NFTs. I think what genuinely excites me is the utility of an NFT and in-game utility, and I think that just the concept that you can use this as a store of value, I think it's just an additive property that I think once gaming studios start to, I shouldn't say at a high level, just the fact that more people are talking about NFTs, it's certainly going to come across somebody's Twitter timeline that wasn't familiar with blockchain or wasn't familiar with the idea of like unique, scarce assets on chain. And I think that will, the tide will rise for all. So there will be more exposure, and whether or not, I think the only downside could be is that there is a bit of the perception of DeFi as of the last few weeks or month or so has taken a small dent based on some sort of opportunistic plays that have happened, and so there could be some association with that with NFTs. So hopefully that kind of gets looked over, and it's more around the concepts of this is a store of value and that you can actually bridge this to utility in your world.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, Donnie. I think that, people are in crypto right now, since it is a very small niche community, are all about like, well, how can I get rich quick? What can I do? NFTs are the next thing. Yeah, I want on that, And so I think that with the things we've seen with like Meme and a couple others that have popped up where they're like, well, we're taking the same old DeFi thing that's been going on the last couple of months and we just mix it with NFT to make it a little bit different. I mean, the NFT itself is not necessarily the focus there, and there is very low utility value as well. So, I think that if it gives some people some exposure to that and seeing the underlying NFT as an interesting asset class, I think that's good in the long run. I just don't want it. I don't want to see the NFT space becoming this kind of same thing we've seen at DeFi, where it's just jumping from ship to ship to ship to be able to farm things, yield farm it, and then get on to the next one after that one's dumped and then keep going. I want people to see that there is a lot of underlying value in that ecosystem, and that, NFTs have been around for a while, and there's so much rich, applications going on right now between games, art, and tokenizing other things for NFTs. So I don't know. Hopefully the people will start to see through that, and building more platforms that do incorporate some of those aspects of DeFi. But then the NFTs that are underlying do actually have some sort of utility besides just like, oh, it's cool. I could sell it.
Maybe just to add on to that as one more thought. People are excited about an item now because it's rare, right? It's digitally scarce. But one thing that hasn't really picked up yet, because we're not at millions of players, is this idea of famous players, famous streamers having skins or just rare items that are attributable to them as the ownership history, right? The provenance. So, what if Vitalik starts competing in Axie or Skyweaver and he has a rare skin, and it's not just rare because there's only 1,000, it's even more rare because it's Vitalik's, and you can prove that ownership history, right? So like I always use the same example of like, Ninja's Fortnite skin, you can't really prove it's his, right? There's no link, there's no blockchain kind of provably publicly available to link the ownership history of items. But with blockchain games, you can have that information publicly available, and you could say, no, that is Vitalik's skin that he won in the Axie Infinity tournament or the Skyriver tournament, right? So then it's not rare, it's not just valuable because it's scarce, but it's valuable because he owned it and he's a famous player. So it becomes this idea of digital memorabilia, the same way we have memorabilia in the sports world with physical items, Derek Jeter's bat or whatever it may be, Mike Tyson's gloves. We're going to have that now in the crypto world with crypto influencers and streamers of games that happen to have blockchain enabled item economies.
I'm doing that. I already did that.
now you just got to become the best player in a game, and then it'll skyrocket.
I don't need to be the best. I just need to keep this mustache rocking, and I think that's all it really takes. But no, you're right. I think that we'll start to see more of that too. I know Gods Unchained actually has plans for that. So, being able to add a signature to a card because someone, the tournament winner, won with that card in their set, and So then it has a different resale value after the fact. So a lot of cool things going on. I hope it doesn't get lost in the whole DeFi shuffle.
All right. I guess it's really going into a very interesting conversation, and that's probably something we can throw like a dedicated panel about in the next coming weeks at the BGA. So I like to keep in mind that, and I think for today's event, we'll call it a day if everyone is okay, unless you have like a final ending word for today. All right. Okay.
No,
so
I'll just
thank
say,
you for.
I'll
Yes,
just say, if
go
you
ahead,
weren't able
Chris.
to see, it sounds like some people weren't able to see my screen. So I'm happy to come back for demo day and present it again. And I was demoing communitygaming.io if you guys want to go check it out. But I'll come back for demo day and I'll share my screen properly.
Yes, thanks, Chris. We run into some technical issues with the double the switch of tab that unfortunately didn't was not catched by the streaming software. So definitely we'll invite you to the demo day for sure. Looking forward to it. As a reminder, we're hoping to organize a full day where every BGA member will get a chance to demo live their product, their game, their services. No slide, no, just real screen, like what you can see as a user. So you get the feeling of what the current state of the amazing product that's being built by our members. With that said, I wanted to thank you again for presenting today and joining the BGA. We're looking forward to keep running many more events together and evolve you into more activities. And goodbye for now. Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching and cheers.